Hey everyone, I'm Sison, and today we're taking a look at Sony A7M2. Now, a lot of people have been clamoring on for me to make a Sony A7 review video, and to be honest, the main reason why I didn't do one earlier is mainly because there was a lot of information online and on YouTube already. But since a lot of people are still asking about the camera and asking about my opinions on it, I thought I'd make a review video. So stay tuned as I take a look at its build, handling, features, image and video quality, and of course what I personally think of it, especially with the new firmware update. So stay tuned for that.
Okay, so this is what the camera looks like. As you can see, you've got the A7M2 badge there, lens release button, AF assist lamp, IR receiver, which actually can be used with the remotes like this one here. You've also got the front dial, and as we take a look on the top, you've got the shutter button, which is shared with the on and off switch, two custom buttons, a exposure compensation dial, a mode dial here, and as we take a look at this, you've got the multi-interface shoe, which can also be used, which can use the like external flashes and microphones. As you take a look at the back, you've got another dial here, another custom button. Actually, a few of these buttons can be customized as well. Playback, cycling bin, menu button, and of course there is a record button here. EVF. And there's a little proximity sensor, so if you're switching from the LCD to the EVF, if you put your eye there, it will instantly turn on. And over here you've got a nice 3-inch LCD screen that also tilts like that. Unfortunately, no touchscreen on that too. On this side you've got the NFC badge and your memory card slot. It takes SD cards. I do recommend getting 64 gigs if you especially want to film videos in XAVCS. Taking a look on this side, we do have mic input, and you've got a headphone jack to monitor the sound. Under this cover you've got a micro USB port and a mini HDMI port. Taking a look at the bottom, you do have a tripod mount, and underneath here you've got the battery slot, which houses a W-type battery. And there's a quick tour on the camera.
Now the camera weighs approximately 599 grams, and that's with the battery and the memory card included. And while it is a bit heavier than its predecessor, the main reason for that is of course the chunkier grip and the in-body stabilization. Even though there is a bit of a trade-off, it's well worth it, especially since the redesigned grip makes it a lot easier to hold, as well as having a more natural button placement when shooting. The electronic viewfinder offers a pleasant shooting experience that DSLRs can't offer, where what you see is what you get, and you also have the ability to overlay different types of information in the viewfinder. But there is a trade-off, as using it does drain the battery a lot faster. I won't get into too much detail about the menu, but if you've been using Sony cameras previously, you'd feel right at home with it. But if you haven't, I suggest taking a tour of the menu and customizing the buttons to suit your shooting preferences. Now the big step up from the original A7 camera was having in-body stabilization. So any lens you attach, whether it be Sony lenses or adapted lenses, will be stabilized. Just a quick note, if you are using an adapted lens, select the focal length in the menu to adjust the camera stabilization for your lens. I must say, having this feature is a welcome addition, and anyone who shoots handheld at slower shutter speeds or shoots videos would see a huge benefit to this. Sony has provided quite a few firmware updates for the A7M2, bringing it now to version 3.10, now adding support for their G Master range. Previously to that, they also added uncompressed 14-bit RAW capture, which can now be selected in the menu, and you have your choice of compressed or uncompressed. But bear in mind, if you do choose uncompressed RAW, the file size is pretty much doubled. Now another added feature is the support for phase detection autofocusing from the camera to use on adapters. particularly the LAEA3, which I can use to adapt my Sony A mount lenses that have SSM or SAM motors built in. Now this basically allows me to use faster autofocusing just so I don't miss the shot. In addition to this, when I shot with the Metabones EF to E mount Mark IV adapter, autofocusing was much faster and with hunting dramatically reduced. Of course, focusing performance varies with different lenses, but with Sony A mount lenses, it's definitely a step in the right direction. The camera takes about 2 seconds to power up to take a photo and about 1.5 seconds to shut down, which is pretty slow in my opinion. Autofocusing is reasonably fast in good lighting conditions, but may take a bit longer in low light conditions. And it can shoot up to 5 frames per second in continuous shooting with exposure and focus locked onto the first frame. The Sony A7M2 offers a similar 24 megapixel sensor from its predecessor, and to be honest, it doesn't really offer much extra when shooting JPEGs, but given the new firmware update, it gives you the opportunity to shoot in uncompressed RAW, which adds that extra flexibility, allowing you to get more out of your photos when you're editing. Pairing the camera with a high quality lens will give you some beautiful images. I shot comfortably up to ISO 12800 with noise starting to creep in, and only used higher ISOs as a last resort. Anyone looking to get into videography at this price range should be satisfied with what this camera has to offer. The XA-VCS codec gives you high quality video as well as offering a number of frame rates and other codecs. With the new firmware, you can now customize one of the buttons to record video. In terms of low light performance, I wouldn't shoot past ISO 6400, and that's just to prevent seeing any noise in my footage. The stabilization during video mode is quite impressive too. Now it won't be able to replace any stabilization rigs, but it certainly does a good job for quick handheld shots. The Sony A7M2 continues to innovate and bring new features to photographers, whether you're just starting out, an enthusiast, or maybe a seasoned photographer. Sony are pushing their cameras like no other manufacturer. They're small, lightweight, and to be honest, it makes it a much more attractive option compared to a full-frame DSLR in the same category. But there is a downside because some of their lenses are a bit too expensive for what they offer, and in terms of what Sony actually offers as a system, it's a bit limited, and they will get there eventually, but it just takes a lot of time. But to be honest, if this doesn't concern you, the Sony A7M2 is a versatile camera with a lot of features that a lot of photographers would appreciate. And with a plethora of adapters already on the market, you can still use your existing Canon, Nikon, Pentax lenses on this camera with adapters, albeit with limited functionality. Now, if this is a bit out of your price range, the original A7 camera can be bought for a much cheaper price. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if you already own one, let me know what you think of it, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more Sony camera reviews and tutorials. You can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram for more sample photos and photo updates. And don't forget, if you can donate to my channel, that would be greatly appreciated. Now until then, happy shooting and thanks for watching.